All right. This weekly's weekly dose of empowerment. I'm gonna I'm gonna say something that's gonna baffle the mind. Acceptance is not agreeance. You can accept someone without agreeing with them. You can accept someone's position or viewpoint without agreeing with them. And so this will do away with that. Let's agree to disagree, because what typically happens is folks don't want to engage mentally in conversation. So if you understand that acceptance is not agreeance, and we often use those terms interchangeably, but it's not. And I'm not even going. Normally, I would do a small dose and a full dose, but I'm gonna just go ahead and just give the full dose here. Um, so you wherever you see this video, it's there. Um, EMHC, Empower Me Holistic Counseling. Now, what most often happens is we conflate those things, right? We intertwine, we use them interchangeably. And so now our brains begin to associate with agreement with acceptance, right? And then acceptance with agreement. So you can have acceptance with without agreeing, and that's where we have dialogue and we have discussion. If I agree with you, there is no need to have a discussion. We agree on something, right? And most of the time, now what could be, and this is where then the acceptance piece becomes a problem, is because I could agree with you but not accept the way you come about whatever it is that whatever we are agreeing on. Okay. But you, in the acceptance space, if you that offers the opportunity to have a conversation, right? And so I'm sensing, and even as I'm hearing myself say this and I'm talking about it, that it might seem a little bit confusing. So let me give you an example. All right. So what's in Maryland, right? Maryland is just um voted to legalize marijuana, okay, for recreational use. A lot of people may not agree with that, but you accept it. You accept that it's the law of the land, right? A lot of people don't agree with a lot of things that we have as far as laws that govern us, but you accept that it is. Okay. And that acceptance doesn't mean agreement. You can accept that that means, yeah, I might not fight you. I might not fight against the issue. I might try to get it overturned. I might try to get it overruled because I don't accept it and I don't agree. But if you think that, if a person says, I accept it, and so that means that I agree, that's where we run into problems, because no one wants to um, see themselves as being pushovers, right? So you say I don't accept, and then but then on the other side, people will have somebody accept what they say while not agree, and then that's not enough. And it's not it that you if you're trying to force people, you're going to continuously get pushback, right? You try to force me to agree with something, you instantly get my inner rebel, instantly, right? Doesn't matter at all. You try to force me to agree with something that I don't agree with without having a conversation about it, and you will instantly regret that, because I'm not going to just let you tell me what to think, right? You're not going to tell me what to agree to. You're not, because I am a product of the choices and the things that I align myself with. So the choices that I make, the things that I agree to or don't agree to, or accept or don't accept, you know, again, it this kind of goes in line with this idea of understanding that you cannot control how life happens to you, but you can control how you happen to life. Right? See, there's this theme of mine that when ultimately what I'm focused on the most is what we do as individuals in response to a situation, right? If if you as an individual excuse me, if you as an individual are not okay with something, and you don't accept something, then we know that you don't agree with it. Okay. However, on the other hand, if you can accept something, it doesn't mean that you agree with it. Okay. So if you don't accept it, we know you don't agree because you're not accepting. You're not going to get in line with it. Right. But if you do accept it, you can accept it without agreeing with whatever. Right. And that's, that's the way that typically when we talk about individualism, that's what we're talking about. This, you know, um, allowing people to be themselves and be who they are, do what they do, as long as it's not impacting me negatively. I'm like, okay, I can accept a lot of things. I don't have to, I don't agree with many things, but I can accept a lot of things. All right. Um, so that's how we, if we can get into that space, then it opens up more dialogue, and it opens up the opportunity for us to have real meaningful conversations and get to the point where solutions are found. All right. So that's what I wanted to share. Acceptance and agreeance are not the same thing. You can accept something without agreeing with it. However, if you don't accept something, I know for a fact that you don't agree. Okay. And so people try to play this let's agree to disagree. And that's how nothing gets solved at all, because we don't intellectually have the debates. We don't have the conversation. It's in the midst of all of the conversation that some type of solution can be worked out or found or located or something like that. Because I'll be the first one to tell you that I do not have all the answers. Right. I do a lot of thinking, but I do not have all the answers. But I'm on a quest. I'm on a quest to figure out how can I leave the earth a little bit better than it was, you know, or it is, right? How can I spark? If I can spark, if I can be the pebble that will create a ripple effect, then I want to do it. But it requires me to be open. It requires me to do some thinking. It requires me to be okay with maybe being a contrarian, being a little controversial. And so, but again, it's all about empower me. So if I'm empowered to live my truth and just speak plainly and not necessarily be concerned with whether or not I'm accepted in polite company, then that's what it is. Okay. But I'm honest, what I noticed that underneath the surface, a lot of people are really, really um, desirous. They want the type of person that I am. They want more of it, but we just don't know, right? Because society is not accepting of certain views, and we have to water things down, and we have to just cater to things or whatever. And I know I'm just droning on a little bit now. This is just me having a conversation with you all out there. And so you can get a sense of how I am and how I move. It doesn't mean that I just come in, I'm like I'm a bull in a china shop. I don't need to. Okay. Like, so one of the greatest things that the one of the things that I really like about martial arts is you learn it to not have to use it. Right? You learn it to not have to use it. You have the ability, you have the capabilities, you have the skills, but the ideal is to not use it. And the moment that I have to use it, it means that I've lost somehow. Right? You know what I mean? So that the ethos is quite different, and I marvel at it sometimes because you know I recorded a video about embracing failure as a way to improve. Okay, and that's what we just need more of that. We just need more freedom and openness to actually fail, to actually fall flat, or to not make everything, to not be perfect all the time. And that's the reason I'm just not even going to edit any of this video and just let it be what it is, because the more that I can be authentic to who I am and show up as a human being, and you have a human experience touching me, it's going to be that, right? So what is me just having a conversation, me just putting out in the ether, my thoughts specifically on acceptance and agreeance. Okay. And you can accept things but not agree. And it's in the accepting but not agreeing that you begin to, one, it says, okay, so what about that do I not agree with? How can I, I can accept something but not agree. So it leads me on a quest, and that causes me to have discussions with people, and to dialogue with people, to learn, because maybe I'm ignorant about some things. Again, I don't know everything. I don't have all the knowledge. Okay. And there are people out that have experiences that I have not had, and vice versa. But it's when we break bread that those things come about. It's, so, but yeah, it's a lot. I miss a lot of stuff that I notice, and I sit back and observe. Um, and then, I can be a disruptive force, but that's really what this is about. That's what all of my tattoos and stuff are about. This contrarian, this warrior, this ethos of inner strength, right? And so you don't have to agree with me, but accepting me, accepting my thoughts, accepting who I am as a person, accepting how I show up. That's the important piece, right? Because the interesting thing is we don't. What I notice sometimes, and this is specifically when people learn that figure out that I'm a mental health counselor and I'm in a mental health space, is all of a sudden I'm expected to be a certain way, and so now the eyes and all of that stuff color, and they change, and now they're looking at me through a different lens. So the goal is to be able to, if y'all hear something, I'm not gonna edit this stuff out. I got some dogs. I got 3 dogs, and they like to bark off of each other. They feed off of each other with the bark and stuff. So um acceptance is not agreement, y'all. Acceptance is not agreement. And if we can get this, then we'll start having more dialogue, more conversation, and we'll seek out conversation with people that don't think like us. But what happens a lot is we think in silos. We communicate and we live life in silos. And so I only want to be around people that believe like me or think like me or agree with me on certain things. And I don't. I love the debate. I love the competing ideas, because it's in that. Socrates had it right. um it's in the dialogue, it's in the discourse that the learning takes place, that our thoughts and our minds are expanded. But if I'm in an echo chamber, and I'm only hearing the things that I agree with and that I believe, then I'm not growing. Then I'm not growing. All right. So acceptance is not agreement. Um, Hopefully you were empowered by this. Like, subscribe, let me know. Give me some feedback in the chat. Get it popping. I'm here. Again, you don't have to agree with me, but I, accepting what I'm saying is, as my experience and my position allows for the openness to happen and communication to happen, right? Now, again, if you get in a chat and you just firing off, and you just pointing finger, making accusations, I'm gonna delete your chat. I'm gonna block you, right? I'm leaving it open for real conversation. I'm open for real conversation. None of this fake stuff. Okay. None of this trying to throw tar and feather. None of that stuff. If you want to have a debate, if you want to discuss, let's do it. Acceptance is not agreement. We can have those discussions. Okay. Empowerment Holistic Counseling, EMHC, Dr. Sharon signing out.